The popularity of farming and many other simulators is quite baffling to a lot of people, myself included, and yet there is still a very successful niche that has a number of developers catering to it. With the yearly farming simulator games, is there space for another one on the market? Well, zombie game specialists Techland certainly seem to think so, and that's why they're publishing Pure Farming 2018 by Ice Flames. Here's a game that looks to check all of the farming sim boxes, and all of the flannel shirts as well while they're at it, and so they've got a bunch of licensed and accurately recreated farming equipment. If you found yourself stuck behind a tractor on a country lane in the last few years, you might find yourself recognising the back end of one of these tractors that you managed to become so intimately familiar with over the course of a torturous hour or two. You'll be putting all of this stuff to use across a number of farms in several different regions, from America to Italy, Japan and Colombia, while a fifth region in Germany is there as a pre-order bonus, which kinda does feel like they're cheating considering that Germany is in fact one of the biggest markets for farming sim games. Each location has its own unique crops and vehicles to use to propagate, look after, and then harvest, or alternatively you can take the route of raising unique livestock instead of growing plants. In the farm set in the USA, you can grow corn as far as the eye can see, and this is the biggest map in the game by far. Taking up a drone and flying around really shows this fact off. That contrasts with growing coffee and industrial hemp that works best in Colombia, while the cherry trees and their utterly distinctive blossoms will easily make Japan the most iconic farm in the game. Growing each of these crops has got a number of fairly clear steps to follow, made all the clearer when taking on a particular mission or challenge, or using the My First Farm mode, which is there to teach you the ins and outs of being a farmer. You can take the end results to nearby factories and sell your produce in a nearby town, getting a return that you can then invest further in your farm, buying new plots, building certain structures to add a new facet to your business, getting more specialist hardware, and so on. The game is really what you make of it in the end, as you decide the kind of farm that you want to build, the direction that you want to take the produce, and then how you want to expand onto other continents. One of the most interesting aspects of this is that if you go into free play, you can actually spread to different continents and have several farms on the go simultaneously, all of them running in real time. Alternatively, if you want something pretty structured, you can take on the farming challenges, which have got such dramatic premises as a locust infestation or the looming threat of a forest fire to your hemp and coffee. Actually delve in and play these scenarios, and they're not quite as dramatic as they sound, simply setting you a particular goal to accomplish within the time limit. Of course, sitting down to play this with only a relatively short window of time, I wasn't really concerning myself with the crop yields that I would get in 3 months' time, but rather how I could mess around within this sandbox. So, hop into a tractor and have a farm to spray halfway across the map? I mean, I'm not going to take the roads, I'm just going to drive over the hills, swerve past trees, and cut across other fields that I literally don't care about. If there's crops to harvest, well, let me tell you that straight lines are boring and I would rather carve some crop circles in them, draw lewd imagery, or simply leave a single hemp bush in the corner that would leave some people really on edge. By far the most fun I had was when I was playing around with the game's physics engine. It is fairly flexible in its own way, and yet it's quite tame at the same time. Tipping a tractor, for example, should be impossible because of how they right themselves like a weeble that has been wobbled, and the only way that I found was to get a pretty sharp drop onto the side so that a wheel actually then clipped through the scenery, and then I had a bit of fun trying to extricate myself from this situation as well. Something perhaps a little more accommodated for in the game's design was my attempt to stack bales of hay on top of each other and then pick them all up using a tractor's hay picker-upper. I forget the technical term, but you know what I mean. I was trying to keep the grabber level enough as I raised the arm so that I could carry 2 or 3 bales of hay at a time, going up a small incline to the machine that would mix it into food for the cows. It was a concerted effort, and I'll admit it was actually quite satisfying as I managed to get them to pop out of existence as I dropped them in. The aim of all of this was to feed my cows and get them producing milk for me, and I must admit the lack of nuance to this slightly disappointed me, as those hay bales, as I said, simply vanished when dropped into the mulching machine, and the troughs for the cows to eat from didn't actually fill up when driving this machine through the shed, and then I didn't even have the satisfaction of being able to open the gate for them to get at the food. I've not played the farming simulator game, so I don't have a point of reference for how much they actually do in contrast, but I do wish there was a bit more detail to this. The kind of silliness and nonsense that I cooked up probably won't sustain the fun and enjoyment within the game for all that long, but I can see something here for those who are either already fond of simulators or have got a soft spot for the more agricultural side of Harvest Moon. The satisfaction comes from building up your farm and creating something tangible and successful that you can keep on growing. Is it for me though? Probably not. I mean, I'm more of a city builder kind of guy, but if growing virtual crops and rearing virtual cattle is your bag instead of fretting over virtual traffic flows, then it's great to see a fresh competitor come to market. Thanks as ever for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this slightly uninformed and similarly nonsensical look at Pure Farming 2018. Please do like, subscribe, and head over to thesixthaxis.com for more, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye!